Sheesh.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So today for the Kettlebell Sport Almanac, we're going to be covering some movement and preventative exercises. So I have Shannon with me. I've known her for quite a long time. She's super awesome. So Shannon, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background? Um,
Okay. Thank you, Kim. Uh, Hi, everyone. I am Shannon Bruess. I have been competing in kettlebell since 2019. And I have been a personal trainer and a college professor in kinesiology for training for about 20 years, teaching for about 10. And I got my bachelor's in exercise science and my master's in sport and exercise psychology. And after college, I went and I really dove into functional movement and functional movement screenings and how to kind of be like a phase two trainer after people graduate physical therapy. So, my philosophy is people graduate physical therapy, they're not quite ready to jump back into their sport or their normal training or the activities that they like to do. And so I really wanted to help people with that. And so I dove headfirst, and that's the majority of my clientele are people healing or athletes trying to prevent injury. So that's kind of why I wanted to give this seminar, I guess, webinar. And I'm going to run you guys through a few movement assessments so you can establish. Hold on, let me put my do not disturb on really quick so I'm not getting texts. Sorry. Okay, that should have been done earlier. Anyway, so to give you an idea of where your movement limitations might be, and that will kind of help us decide if you have any like hot spots or risky movement limitations that could lead to injury. And that way that you can program for your training, warm up properly, and then ultimately perform at your best. And again, not get injured during practice or competitions and stuff like that. So, my main thing of today is we really want to kind of um, dissect the body, I guess, in ways where we can see where the kinetic chain affects all the different muscle groups and joints and tendons and fascia and all of that. And then really trying to differentiate between a stability limitation versus a mobility limitation. A lot of times we train or we warm up with mobility, when if mobility is not an issue and stability is the issue, by doing more stretching, doing more mobility, you're just increasing your joints range of motion and not keeping up with stability to maintain that extended range of motion. So with that, if you keep increasing your flexibility and your mobility, but you're not working the stability in these major joints, then you're more likely to get injured because um, of that extra range of motion and the lack of ability to protect the joints and the tendons and everything in whatever area that you have that limitation. So I have set up, like I said, the different movement assessments. Some of them I have split into stability, mobility, and I'll give you two movements to add to your training based on where you land in the movement assessment. So I'm going to take it one by one, do the movement assessment, show you how to do it, and then what to look for. And then I'll give you right afterwards two major things that you can add. One of them is just like we use for what we call red lights. So that's if you're experiencing pain or a sensation in the wrong area. And then, so I'll give you something to help with that. That's usually myofascial work. And then I'll give you a corrective exercise to go from there. If you have like a green light and there's not an issue with it, you don't necessarily have to worry about addressing that in training, but you don't want to ignore that area. You still want to maintain your green light and not regress. So you can add all of this, but it can be kind of daunting to do so. But most of the stuff that I've included are specific for kettlebell that will, like I said before, improve your performance and properly warm you up, if anything. So yeah, I will get going. Yes.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
And
And
I'm
Kim's
willing to
gonna,
be an active participant.
yes, Kim's gonna do it with me. So, okay. So the first one, I'm gonna
Do
give you a
I
bunch
need
of
a pole?
jargon. What's that?
Do I need a stripper pole?
Yeah, that's my stripper pole. No, you have a rig, so you'll be fine. But I had to do the
Okay.
stripper pole because I don't have an outlet close to my rigs back there. So here we
Okay.
are. If you want, you can also, it's, multifaceted. You could use it for rehab and then a fun, warm up on the pole if you'd like. But okay, so the first one is called the standing lumbopelvic flexion test. So
Oh God.
essentially,
This
I know
sounds
lots of words.
inappropriate.
It could be.
Maybe I
I
should have
mean,
wore longer shorts.
yeah, you probably should have. Just face your booty away or not. We would love a show. Um, so essentially, this one is testing your hamstring flexibility, but also whether or not you are likely to use your back when you're hinging, deadlifting, but also could be like long cycle or literally any of the lifts because you have to hinge through all of them. So we're gonna stand. Oh, and when you're doing these assessments, your shoes have to be off. No shoes.
God. Okay.
Ah! Right, here we go. I've been kneeling for too long. Okay. So I'm gonna try to stand far enough away where you can see. Can you see my feet?
I can see your feet. You cannot see
Can,
my feet.
yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you want to have your feet about hip width apart comfortably. And then you want to lock out your knees and then slowly reach forward as far as you can and stop where you are at your
Oh
limit.
God. Okay.
So So the idea is to get a full assessment, you have to be able to touch the floor without
When you're
bending your
doing this, do
knees.
you want to keep your back in a like
A
neutral
straight
state the
line.
whole time? Yes.
You want
Or are we
yes,
allowed
if
to
you
like
can.
round down? Yes, if
You
you can.
can if you go slow and round, you just have to make sure that your knees stay straight. So if you can't maintain a straight back without bending, then it's fine to round. Otherwise, if you have more flexibility, you can come down and flatten and see if that changes. So either way, your knees have to be locked out.
God.
Yep. Ah, that's different. So then you got to ask yourself what you feel in this position. So, Kim, what do you feel in this position?
A lot of hamstrings.
Okay. So that's the area that you should feel. And it should be like lower hamstring behind the knee. Most
Yes,
of the
through
time,
here.
perfect. Most of the time, people feel tightness there. But if you can touch the floor with locked out knees, then you get a full green light.
Even if my fingers are tented.
Yes.
I mean, I can get all the
Tinted.
way down there. Tented. I can
Yes.
get all the
Just,
way down there. It's just uncomfortable.
and if you lock out your knees, are you able to keep that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
It's
So
just
it doesn't have to
uncomfortable.
be, yeah, it doesn't have to be palm on the floor, just fingertips is fine. So
Okay.
the thing that is a red flag is if you feel that in your lower back. So if you're hinging and reaching for the floor and you feel your lower back, that is a red flag. If it's pain or if it runs like through the sciatic nerve, that is also a red flag. So either way, anyone can benefit from these movements, whether you have a green or a red. If you have a red, like there is pain, there's a like a zing through your sciatic nerve, then don't do the second exercise yet. Keep doing the first one I'm going to have you do. So this first one's called a nerve floss. If you have sciatic issues, this is really good to do anyway. It's good to relieve the discomfort. So what you're going to do with that is you're going to lay on the ground. Make sure you can see me. Okay. Can you see me? Okay, we're good. All right.
So there
So you're
was
going to
one
have,
question.
oh,
Eric,
yep.
you wanted to know, is this something that you would do prior? Would you warm up prior to doing this?
No, that's a great question. No, but you can do like the best out of three type deal, but we want it to be your natural at rest movement. So that is, like I said, you can do three of them and then best out of three because you will warm up and get a little further, especially when your body like gets used to the movement that you're doing because a lot of times your body or your muscles will lock up when it's in an uncomfortable position because it thinks it's going to get injured. So it will like spaz or lock. So you have to kind of teach your body that this is a safe movement. I'm not going to get injured. And then that's why I like to do like a best out of three type thing.
Okay.
But I would suggest like not to do this as soon as you wake up in the morning completely cold. Like you have to be moving around throughout the day just to get like a normal amount of blood flow going. So don't like get out of bed and just automatically do this, which I don't know who would, but anyway. Okay, so any other questions?
No, not for
Okay.
now.
All right. So you're going to lay down on your back and the idea is to try to have a straight leg down here, but you can also have a bent leg here. I'll show you the bent leg version, but you're going to extend your leg, grab behind your knee, and then you're going to point your toe, flex your toe, then bend your knee and release. So you're here, point, flex, bend, release. Point,
Okay.
flex, bend, release. If you have sciatic tension or issues, you will feel this in your sciatic nerve. And that's the way that I like to help people find relief when they are having a sciatic flare up. So this is called sciatic nerve flossing. And what you're doing essentially, like a lot of times when
When
you're
you go to bend your knee, is your foot pointed or flexed?
flexed, yep.
Okay.
So when you point, you're releasing. And then when you are flexing, you're tightening that sciatic nerve. And so when people have sciatic nerve issues, it tends to be the tissue around the nerve that's the problem and it's compressing on the nerve. So by doing nerve flossing, you're literally like flossing like you would your teeth. You're taking that nerve and you're sliding it through the surrounding tissue and releasing the tension in there and just providing movement. And I'll say over and over again, motion is lotion. It will help relieve that inflammation and that pain. A lot of times I will have clients do this in between deadlift sets. That way you're less likely to injure your back, or at least even just tweak your back if you do this. So this is
So,
a
and
good
you
like
said better is with your leg down.
correct. Yeah,
Did you?
you get more if your leg is down.
Mm,
Yes, just like that. Mm-hmm.
thank
So
you.
we point and release, and then bend and
I
extend,
work
and
well
then
with
yeah.
positive reinforcement.
Oh yeah, I'll
Okay.
praise you all day, baby. Okay, so that's a good one to do regardless to having an issue or not. Kim, you're frozen. Am I? Uh-oh. We are You're frozen. I don't know if I am. I'm texting you. Oh no. Okay. We good?
Okay.
Was that on my end or your end?
I think it was actually on my end. I don't
Okay.
know.
All right. Well, I was just
I mean, I
sitting there
could
looking
blame
like an
you.
idiot. That's fine. But I'm just
It
sitting here
wasn't.
like,
Okay,
okay.
you're good.
So, anyway, moving on. So after you do that, or in addition to doing this, or by your or sorry, or without doing flossing, if like you don't have any issues with your sciatic nerve, you can always do this, but I like to follow the floss up with this. So this, I have a wedge. If you have a wedge, like a squat wedge, that's ideal, but you can do this on a plate too if you'd like, but you're going to elevate your heels. So here's my wedge.
Oh, I was thinking something totally different,
What were you thinking?
like a foamy wedge.
It is a foamy wedge.
Oh, it is a foamy wedge.
Yep. Okay. All right. So then what you're going to do is you're going to stand heels up, and you're going to do 10 is best, but however many you can tolerate, but you're going to keep your legs straight, reach, squat, unfold, and then come up. So you reach for toes, squat, unfold, unfold like that. So that's a good one. You can always add weight to that too, but I don't recommend that. Oh, you have a foamy wedge too.
No, I have a hard wedge.
Oh.
It's wooden.
Oh,
And
I
then I have
see.
a
Okay.
metal one as well. But this is
Oh.
like I have a lower one, but it's a very high,
High is okay. Like that'll just give you more relief on your
more
ankles and your
range of
back.
motion.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So
So
you reach
bend.
forward. Yep. Squat, unfold, and then unfold. Yeah, there you go. Uh-huh. You are really high up. Don't follow.
I know.
Yes.
I'm like in high heels now. Oh shit. Wrong
Yep.
way.
There you go. Yep. I know. Like that's it. Stripper pole, stripper heels. Like we got something going here. Okay. Any questions on that one? That's all I have for that one.
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. No.
Okay. So the next assessment is a kneeling heel to glute assessment. So I am hypermobile in my ankles. So the way that I do this is uncommon, but we'll see. We'll see how Kim does. So what you're going to do is you're going to kneel on both knees. I think I need to bring this down more. There we go. So kneeling like so. And then you're going to flatten your feet and put your big toes together. And then you're just going to sit back as far as you can. What do you feel in this position, Kim?
My quads.
Okay, tight quads.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's
that's
very
super
uncomfortable
common.
on my quads.
Okay, all right, you can come out of it. So, common sensations are quad tightness. Do you feel anything in your knee or your knees?
Mm, no, not necessarily.
Okay.
Uh, it's mostly quad, I think.
What about your ankles?
My ankles are okay.
Okay, good. You can come out of it. So, a lot of times you'll feel, or you will feel, or clients will feel pressure in the knees. I've heard people kind of describe it as like it feels like my knees are going to explode if I go further back. Red flag, obviously. But other times they'll feel it in the ankles, and they won't be able to, or you won't be able to put your ankle flat to the ground. It'll be tented, or there'll be like space underneath the ankle. So I like to separate the corrective exercises based on knee sensation or ankle sensation. So I'll show you knee sensation first, and then I'll get into ankle sensation.
So one
So
person said that when they sit like that, they really feel it like in the middle of their feet. Maybe their feet are cramping. I'm not
yeah,
sure.
okay, yeah, that's also common. If you have person who's doing that, are you able to get your
You
glutes
know
all the
what,
way?
Eric? Do you just want to jump on the live?
Yeah.
I can just send you a link.
Right. Um, yeah,
Let me see.
if you're able to touch your ankles to the floor and you're feeling that, it just might be that your feet are working too hard to force that. And so that can cause a lot of cramping in the arch of your foot. It's also to make sure that you're not sitting on your toes. Make sure your ankle is plantar flexed instead of dorsiflexed, because that can cause cramping in the toes as well.
I sent him a link if he so chooses to jump on.
Perfect. So anyway, that can also, even if you can touch your ankles to the floor, and you're getting that cramping sensation, it might not be a full range of motion in your ankle. You're just like able to force it, or your body weight is heavy enough to just like smush your ankles down, and then your feet are like, I don't like this position. So then that's what the cramping in the arch of your foot ends up being. So I would treat that as an ankle limitation instead of a knee limitation, but not calling it a full assessment or like a green light. So if you're feeling sensation in your knee, you can, for myofascial release, you can use a massage gun. I typically do that because I'm too lazy to foam roll. It just takes too much effort for me. But you need to foam roll your IT band and your quads um, before and after you train, but don't foam roll until you're warmed up. So don't just go cold into foam rolling. So to show
That's
you,
my favorite way to do it. I actually
that's
don't like the
because
foam roll, so
you like pain, Kim.
I'm
Okay,
gonna have to
don't
show
we
you
all though?
my
Listen,
I'll have to show you my new toy
oh
that I
yay,
got.
we wouldn't be in kettlebell sport if we didn't like pain in some way, shape, or form. What is that? What
Oh,
is
I think
that?
he did choose to get on. Hold on, let's see.
Yay! A victim.
Okay, he is on. He's just not showing his face. Go
Okay, that's fine. And Eric, if you have
ahead.
questions, just like unmute and ask if you can. Um, otherwise, and if you want, if you're able to have the camera on, I can assess you. Um, but whatever, however you want are comfortable. So, okay, back to foam rolling. When you're foam
Okay.
rolling your quads, you want to see if I can get on here. You can do one quad at a time or both quads, both quads. You are on top of the foam roller and rolling to the knee and back.
Okay, both together.
Yes.
Oh
So
my God, so far from the ground.
that's a
See,
less intense version.
I don't like to foam roll because I feel like I have to do so much work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's too
I
much
gotta
core
like
work. It's like
fold
doing a
my
plank.
body weight up,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I
Exactly.
just this does hurt though.
Yes. But now if that's not enough, like if you can't feel it enough, then you can do single leg. How can I demonstrate this? This way? Okay. Where you
And
have just
how long are you usually foam rolling?
you only need to do like a maximum of 3 to 5 minutes. It depends on if you are warming up in other ways. So yeah, you can start with the two legs, then go to one leg. Kim, you can kind of see she's doing the one leg. That can be a little more intense.
Go this way.
If you do it right, if you really get deep in that quad. So I like to tell people like 5 to 8 rolls, full muscle roll, and then move on to the next one. You don't have to do too many sets. You're kind of just waking up the muscle and sending blood flow to the tissue.
I have
So
so much
then,
chalk on the floor in this area.
yeah, story of my life. That's why I'm on the pretty mats. They're just a lot more comfortable. Okay, so then you do IT
Okay.
bands. And IT band, if you're not familiar, runs from here to knee, right? Okay. So you'll have to be on your side for that. This is the worst. I'm going to cry when I do this. Like this. And then you're going to roll. Oh, actually, we're not too bad today. Hip to knee and keeping yourself directly on your side. If you find any hot spots, stay on them. So, like right here is a hot spot for me. It's probably the most intense sensation, and I'm just going to roll back and forth on that. And you can just give it some extra attention, or you can stay on the spot until it releases, which, if you're patient, go for it. But if not, just doing a couple rolls on it should be fine. Um, so those two things are really good to do, especially if you're having knee sensation. If you have that feeling of like your knee's gonna pop, then rolling your quads closer to your kneecap is going to be the way to go. And then making sure that you're getting flat, but then rolling inward, rolling outward, getting all of the quads, not just the top of the leg. Okay, so then a corrective exercise that you can do. I'm sure all of you have heard of Nordics, where you're working your hamstrings. Those are terrible. So this is a reverse Nordic, and you can do this weighted or not, but it's important to maintain the correct form in order to get it right, because otherwise you're going to put too much stress on your lower back, and we want all of the stress on the quads. So that reverse Nordic, you're on your knees, just
And I
like this
assume that you
position.
probably want to do this with a padded surface underneath.
Yes, correct. So like a mat or a mobility pad or something like that. Yes. So when you're doing this, you're going to push your hips forward, and you can, I like to have people put their arms here so they're not trying to like hold back. So you're here like this, hips are forward, and you lean back like Matrix and come back up. What you don't want to do is when you're leaning back is drop your hips, because you're releasing the quads, and we don't want that. We want the quads going into an eccentric position, so stretching it, and then concentric to lift you up. So your quads are responsible for moving you back. I'm losing my voice. And then your quads are pulling you up. So it's not just like core and you're like hoisting. Sometimes when this is new for people, I'll have a bench behind them, and give them a distance so they go back until they hit the bench and then come forward like that. So you can do that if you're a little worried that you're going to fall, you don't trust your balance. Have something behind you, and you can tap that surface and then come back up. You don't have to go as low as I went. Even just a little bit comes back and forward is enough.
Okay. For some
We
reason,
good?
Zoom is struggling today.
That's okay. We're good though? Do I need to
Yeah.
repeat? Do I need to repeat?
Yeah, you probably need to.
Okay. So just going back on that, if you're new to it and you don't really trust your balance or your quad strength, having something behind you like a bench or something like that, you can lean back until you touch it and then come back up. So you can shorten your range of motion and then have something sturdy behind you just in case you're a fall risk. So I like to have people do that when they're just starting or if they've never done that movement before.
Could they use
And then,
like a stick to help for people that don't feel like they have enough strength to go back far enough? I mean, could they use something
like a dowel.
yeah, or I have mobility sticks. This is a short one, but using like a
Yeah.
mobility stick to, I mean, I don't know if this would work, but
Yeah.
I don't know if that would make really much of a difference, but
So
I guess
kind of
you'd
to
probably
that.
need something more in order to hold them.
Yeah. Well, so you can do that and hold, like, go do that next to the rig or the squat rack and have your
Hmm.
arm around it. And then you lean back. And if you need assistance coming up, your arm can help you come up. Yep. Like that.
Do you have your knees apart or completely together?
It's more challenging to have them together.
That's about it. Oh
Yep.
God.
So yeah, another progression, having these apart is going to be a little less challenging, but if you want a progression, putting your knees together is going to really isolate the quads.
Okay.
So that's a good question. Any questions?
No.
Okay. So now we're doing, if there's ankle sensation or ankle, a limited movement in the ankle, then you can do that same movement, but making it eccentric rocks. So it's kind of like, it's just like the reverse Nordic, but you are only concentrating on the down part. So eccentric, I'm lengthening the muscle, so I'm lengthening the quads. I'm coming back here like this, and then I sit down and come back up. So here, stretch, sit down, come back up. Okay. So
Okay.
that also, so if you have really flexible ankles, like I do, and you need, well, I mean, if you have really flexible ankles, it's not necessarily you need to increase the range of motion. But if you can't feel that, you could take your wedge, maybe not yours, Kim, because it's like vertical. But you can have that here and you can do
I use it
eccentric
to do
rocks.
heel raises
Yeah.
mostly.
Yeah, that's good. So you can do either the Nordic version here or you just sit back and come up. So going slowly back over your heels and then coming up. And you can do that without the thing too. So slowly coming down and then up. And that should give you a nice stretch in the top of the ankle. And then also helping with cramping feet because you are releasing it and spending more time under tension. That's a big thing too, is time under tension. And then the progression of that is just holding that position. So holding this kneeling position for as long as you can. If you are someone who can sit back all the way and your toes are like touching, if you want a challenge, you can make them go straight. And then you're going to bring in the muscles of the outside of your shin and giving them a chance to stretch. All right. So this next one, it's better to have someone do this for you, but we don't all have competent people to do that for us. So you can use like a yoga strap or, excuse me, a really tight pull-up band or something like that, because you're going to be laying on your belly and you're going to be pulling your foot to your glutes. So it is called the prone heel to glute test. So you're going to be laying on your belly. Can we see my legs?
You really should have told me all the pieces of stuff I needed to have before we started
I
this.
know. I should have had like whatever, an items list for you. I have a lot of stuff. You're going to need a dumbbell and a mini band if you're already over there.
Wait.
Not for this one, but later.
Oh, well, I'll get it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so you're going to lay flat and you're going to take the band around to the top of your foot like this. And you got to make sure that your knees stay together. Okay. And you're going to pull your leg and try to get your heel to your glute. And try to lean flat too. Don't sit up like this. Put your chin on top of your forearms or your fist and try to pull that straight back. Then release it and try to pull again. So your knee needs to stay on the ground when you do that, and your legs need to stay together. So Kim, what are you feeling in this position?
My quads like up through more through the belly of the quad, like the main part of the quad.
If you pulled harder, could you get your heel to your butt?
I don't know how far. I don't know how far away my heel is from my butt. Oh, it's
You got
probably like an
3
inch.
inch, 3 or
No, it's not
no.
3 inches. You're
Well,
far away.
you're too far away. I can't see
Your
your butt
sizing is
enough.
worse than a man's. I've got maybe an inch. I don't think I could get it to my butt.
If we think that's a lot of
Maybe if I
space,
lift
it
my
might
butt
be an
up.
issue. Yeah. Time to grow the glutes.
I need a bigger butt for this.
So, the idea is to be able to bring the heel all the way to the glute. And very common, you're going to feel a stretch in your quad. But the thing that's the red flag is if you feel that in your back, if you feel the further you pull your heel back to your glute, if your low back starts to wake up or you have literally any sensation in your back, then that's considered limited, even if you can touch your heel to your butt. So for me, I can get my heel there, but I do feel a pull in my lower back. And so when you have that, that is showing that you have a stiffness imbalance between your core and your hip flexor. So another thing that you can identify if you're not able to do that assessment, to see if you have that stiffness imbalance. If you're doing core work where you're dropping your legs or you're doing hanging leg raises or something like that, and you feel it predominantly in your hip flexors as opposed to your core, that is a sign that you have that stiffness imbalance and your psoas is doing too much work and it's making that your core is not doing the work. Did someone ask if you feel it in the quad?
Yeah, he said if I feel it in the hamstrings, is this okay? And I said yes, that's where you should feel it.
In the hamstrings or the quad?
Or oh shit, I guess those are different locations.
So not the hamstring, but I guess it's more of if you feel it like there's pressure, then it could be just because your hamstrings might be tight. Also, that could mean that your hamstrings are about to cramp. So don't hold it and allow that to happen. So a lot of times that will be, if people feel it in their hamstrings, it is a subtle warning that you're going to feel it, or your hamstring's going to cramp up because of that like extra shortening of the muscles. So hopefully that doesn't happen to you. But like I said, the red flag is that stiffness imbalance where you are feeling it in your lower back. Yeah, I think they're just tight. That's fine. How did that first assessment should have told you that too. Okay, so things to do for that. If you are feeling it in your back, especially, but again, if you don't, there's no harm in doing this anyway. But the idea is to teach the core and the psoas or the hip flexor to work independently, not with each other at all times. So the thing I'm going to show you is teaching your core to activate while your psoas is lengthening and contracting on its own instead of it being moving as one unit. So the first thing is going to be foam rolling again, and you're going to roll out your hip flexor and your quad. So we showed the quad already. Hip flexor, you got to get right into this part, and it's best to not just go straight down and up, but to like open up your leg and get inside too, like by the groin. So
So are you trying to, stretch and mobilize the psoas and the oh, well, you won't be able to get to that one with that, but I'm trying to think of the other muscle that's next to your psoas that attaches to your hip. Your
it starts with an S.
it starts with an I. Your,
Ili
your
ilio
iliacus. Your
iliacus. Yeah,
iliacus.
there. Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit harder to get to with the foam rolling, but you can do that with like a lacrosse ball or
So
something
this
like
is my
that.
new toy that I was going to tell you about. So I have
Ooh.
this ball. It looks
Uh-huh.
like a magic eight ball, but it's
I was just
not.
gonna say, nice.
Somebody's like, "Are you rolling around a magic eight ball?" And I'm like, "No." Anyway, so
Yes, it's
this
magic.
ball, it's about the size of, I guess, maybe a little bigger than a softball. It's from Athleta. And this ball like perfectly gets into to hit your psoas, like really great, like way better than the foam roller does. And you basically just lay on it and it goes into
Mm.
like wherever your hip bone is, it's going to sit here and
Mm.
then you're going to lay down on it. But it's nice because it gives a little bit, but once it compresses, like obviously it's got air in it, and then you can
Yes.
roll it down to move it to onto the hip joint and to get more of the lower part of the
Mm.
hip flexor. And
Yeah,
I've
because your body will just like
it just
over it.
yeah, it really
Yeah.
pushes around it and really allows it to sink in. Because I also have a because this is one area that I have a lot. I don't want to say
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm working on it's better, but um, this causes me like a lot of lower back issues. I think, well, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
help anyway. But
No,
I
it'll
also
def
have one of
the meat
these.
grinder. I have that. Yes.
The only problem is that this does not fit my hips exactly. So I have to lay on one side at a time, which I don't like because it's really pokey and it is uncomfortable. Like it's already sitting on it is already uncomfortable, but sitting on just one, I feel like it
Yes.
hurts more
So I
than what I'm
have,
doing. I've seen one of those.
yes. So this I love because I should be sponsored by this brand. It's called the meat grinder, which I love because that's hilarious. But you can take these off and adjust them. Or like for iliacus, I like to take it apart. Oh boy. Okay. I'm not going to wrestle with it, but it comes apart here. And so I just use one side. And for that iliacus spot, if you turn it this way, you can get in
Hmm.
here more, pointing out, so you can get under your hip bone. And if you just lay on it like so.
So, because I mean, if you do have a lot of lower back
Mm-hmm.
tightness where you're struggling, sometimes some of that can be from,
Yeah.
anteriorly where you have a really tight psoas and iliacus. And so when you're standing normally, those are really pulling on the front. causing you to basically your pelvis to tilt. And so it's
Yep.
kind of like tilted all day.
Mm-hmm.
So releasing those can help with that, that
And
pain more,
strengthening the
yeah,
glutes.
more so just so you can be in the right position
Yeah.
during the day, your regular day to day.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of mine stuff, because for recruiting, I drive a lot. And so in a car that doesn't have any lumbar support for my government vehicle, and I'm driving, sometimes 25 or 30 hours a week around to meet people, and it just does a number on my lower back. And
Mm-hmm.
so, in a car, your knees are kind of pulled up more, so
Yep.
you're
And your
sitting
hips tighter.
like this. So I found that rolling on it, I just like this one just because it's a little more comfortable and I feel like it really gets in there. And
Yeah.
it's one of the few things I bought that I'm like, I'm gonna use this forever.
We should
Um,
have had an Amazon link on here.
yeah.
Like,
So this is Athleta.
yep.
There's probably other companies that make this ball. It is
Mm-hmm.
really way too expensive for a fucking ball.
Yeah.
But it was like, I
Of
think they're like
course.
28 or $29. But
Oh
honestly, like
God.
this stupid
Like a
thing
big
is like
weight set.
$70 for a piece of
Yeah.
plastic.
Listen,
So,
this adjustable one was like $30. So on
oh, that's not
Amazon.
bad.
Yeah. Meat
That's not
grinder.
bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Awesome.
but yeah, doing this every day has helped a bunch. But I mean,
Yes.
obviously just stretching alone isn't enough.
Correct. And that's a perfect segue for the next thing I'm going to have you do.
You're welcome. We didn't
So
even plan that.
I know we're just on. I know. Okay. So having like a dowel, or like a mobility stick, like Kim brought over, but you're going to go into like a half kneeling position here. And the important part is activating the core. You do that by pressing into the dowel. So I'm pressing down and now my core is activated. I keep it activated and I lean forward to stretch the psoas. Then I come up and then I can relax my core. Then I do it again, activate the core, pushing down into the floor, and then rock forward and come back. You'll feel a completely different stretch than if you were just doing normal um, hip flexor stretches. So pushing down, rocking while you have that core engagement, and then coming back. So that's a good one to do as well. It helps really isolate. You can do, like if you're familiar with Palloff presses, you can have a band on the rig and just hold the band in front of you and do the same thing. So either way, we just want that core activated while we are moving through the full range of motion of the psoas. Okay, next one. This is where I'm going to use my stripper pole. So I'm going to bring you guys over here so you can see. I put socks on because I have Fred Flintstone feet and not a pedicure right now. So we're going to save you from that visual. Okay. So ideally, you want to have a flat surface because you need to be further away. So like going to a rig is probably the best way to do it. Um, but your foot, so when I do this, my heel's going to be hanging off and we don't want that, but I'm just trying to show you the idea of it. So you're going to bring your foot to some kind of post, stripper pole, yada yada. And you're going to move your foot back about 4.5 inches. Okay, again, I don't want this here. Okay, so maybe Kim can show.
Yeah, I can show it on. Well, I don't know if you can see it this far back. So
You can. So what you're doing is you're keeping your heel on the ground and you are bending forward until your knee touches the rig.
oh, okay.
So heel should be completely flat and coming back like that. So leaning about 4.5 inches away from the rig and your heel, oh, I'm super close. I'm like trying to see you. So is your heel on the ground?
Yeah, I'm trying to
Are you touching it?
the oh, I guess you can't really tell because this thing's in front of it because we've got a leg
Yeah.
extension machine here.
Yeah.
Um, Let me get 4 inches away from this little. Oh, I guess I can just do it on this.
Yeah.
So because in order to really reach it to get my knee to bend far enough, I do have to like kind of squat. Let me see a little bit farther away.
Yeah, that's okay. We just don't want you leaning backward to like push your hips forward to make up for the difference.
Okay.
So even if
So
you can
kind of like
touch,
Patrick step, except for you're not leaning backwards, but you're just bending at
correct.
the knee in
Yep.
like a partial squat.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So when you're doing this, the goal is obviously to be able to touch the knee to the surface without lifting your heel off the ground. And so when you're doing this, Kim, what kind of sensation are you feeling?
I mean, I feel stretched through. I mean, I have pretty decent ankle mobility, so
Mm-hmm.
but there's stretch like uh through my not my hamstrings, through my a little bit through my
Achilles?
calves and my Achilles. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and this is an important one because now we're going to decipher if we have a mobility issue or a stability issue in the ankle. And if it's stability, you don't want to keep stretching and stretching and stretching. You're going to be way too loose in the ankle. And then you're more likely to roll your ankle, blow out your knee, like all of that stuff. So, if you are unable to touch the pole or whatever, um, try to identify why. So, is it because it's tight in the Achilles, or is it because you're feeling a sense? So, is it tight here? That's the problem. Or are you feeling like a pinching or a sensation in the front of the ankle? If you feel it in the back, then it's just a mobility issue. If you feel it in the front, that signals a stability issue. So we want to make sure that we are um, just are knowing where the actual issue lies. And sometimes, though, if you are feeling it initially in the Achilles and you release that, stability issues might come forth too. So you might feel that movement differently the next time you do it if you have been addressing your Achilles tightness. So we're going to do stability first. So if you feel that in the front of your ankle, then you're going to need to do these exercises. Or if you just know that you have some like balance issues or wonky stability, um, you're going to need like a thick band like this. Okay. You got one of those?
I do.
Okay. So then you're gonna do like a slip knot here. I don't even know if that's really called that. Whatever. Where you latch it onto here. I don't know. I'm making shit up. Okay. So you have I gotta like move myself really far away. So then you want this band to be like extremely taut. So I gotta move further
You
away.
better make sure that pole doesn't fall on you. Your
Oh yeah, my
your
stripper pole.
your yeah, your stripper pole.
We're good. We got it. We're not falling.
I mean, I think you could
Okay.
also, if you don't have a pole or if you don't have a rig, I think you could also do this with probably a pretty heavy kettlebell, maybe. If you do it, because you're just trying to get so you have tension on it low to the ground, right?
So what you need to have is the band around the ankle like this. So, and it
Okay.
needs to be tight enough to feel like it's like digging into your ankle. So it's not comfortable, but you want it to be right where your foot meets your tibia and fibula. So right on there. And then once it's pulling tight enough, you want to rock forward and backwards here
I'm
like
so
that.
scared that pole is going to fall on you.
It's not even moving. We're good.
Okay.
You know what? Then we'll upload it to like TikTok and we'll get tons of views of how this idiot knocked
I'm
over a
like,
barbell onto her head and got a concussion. So, oh.
um,
So
feel
yeah,
like there was a death on this live stream. Okay.
it would be me if it was going to be anyone. So what's happening here is the band is essentially acting as support for your ankle. I'm like all over the place. We're just rolling around right now. So your if you have tight ankles, this should allow more range of motion because it's acting as kind of a brace on your ankle joint. And what's happening is it's allowing your joint to open a little bit, and then blood flow goes into that space. So blood flow is healing, it adds lubrication to the joint. And so that helps you also increase your range of motion without hurting your ankle. So that one's a really good one. If you want more of a challenge, you can put a kettlebell on your knee, on the working knee, and it just adds weight too. So you can do it that way too. Okay, let me see. All right. So then the next
You
thing.
didn't talk about this, but maybe you're going to bring it up. So when you're
Okay.
talking
Yep.
about like ankle stability, I think a lot of people don't think about like their feet and the way their foot is working when they're in specific positions.
Yep.
Um, so when you're doing kettlebell or when you're squatting or really anything, you want to really focus to make sure you don't have your toes gripping into the floor so much. But the basically, on my foot, the 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 base of your big toe,
Yeah.
which is what is pressing and driving into the floor. So basically on each side, but focusing on that big toe driving into the floor. And when you do that, that's going to help to lift your arch up, which is going to bring your ankle into alignment. So I don't know if I can show it. I definitely can't be far away when I do it. Um, so for example, I'll do it on this chair. Awkward. And I'm also not going to show you my feet. So when I don't have the ball of my foot driving into the floor, right there, you really can't see any space. Do I have like a piece of paper or something so you can see? There we go. I don't
Oh
know what
yeah.
that is.
No, that helps.
So my foot is, basically flat to the ground. And then if you see from the front, my ankle is basically kind of caved in on the inside. Okay, so this is when your foot is in this position, it's going to inhibit you from trying to get your knee going in the right direction. So you can put additional stress on your knee. And so trying to get that ankle stability along with the rest of your body, driving that ball, that foot down into the floor, and almost like you're trying to pull it back in on itself. There's drills where you can like practice pulling a
Yeah.
towel. Anyway, so pulling that back in, and when you do that, that raises up that arch and activates that arch to the position it's supposed to be. And so if you look at my ankle, it'll go from here to activated, which pulls it up and into alignment with the lower part of my leg. So not activated,
Yep.
activated. So that when I'm going into squat, my foot is supporting the lower part or the upper part of my body. Otherwise, you'll have this ankle collapsed while you're trying to go in and do movement positions. So I would say also, like when you're doing this knee drive and working on that, really focus on activating your foot so you're in the position that you are going to be in when you're doing your movement as well.
Yes.
So, because
And
sometimes I
then
find that people struggle with squatting or certain things, certain movements, and a lot of it's
yes.
stemming from their foot positioning. And because they're not really grounded on the floor and their ankle isn't supported, they're struggling to get the rest of their body into the correct position. And it's really
Right.
just stemming from their feet.
Yes.
Um,
Exactly. And that's why I was saying like dissecting the body to see where the root of the issue is. And I noticed myself in my own practice that because my ankles are hypermobile and I lack stability in my ankle joint, I feel a lot of that first dip or that under squat in my knee. And it makes sense because my knee is not stable because my ankle is not stable. So there is another assessment that I'm going to show you that can kind of help with your foot positioning based on your anatomy. And I highly recommend trying these different foot positions to see if it works better for you. But I'll get to that in a second. The last thing I want to show you for stability of the ankle is a time under tension squat with your heels elevated. Can you see my?
No.
Now?
Yes.
There we go.
There you go.
So
We all need our own cameraman.
I know, right? God. Okay. So then you're just squatting and holding down here. So what's happening is it's also helping with, but you're elevated. You got to be elevated to start. So you're getting some stretch here, but in order to not like fall over, your ankle is working on stability. And then it's kind of also working your anterior tibialis too. So you're working that if you do deep squats and you feel tightness in your shins, it's an ankle issue. So doing this and then just kind of rocking and making your ankles be the anchor so you're not going to fall forward. And then you're inadvertently working both mobility and stability at the same time. Okay, moving on. So if it's a mobility issue in the calf, then you can do foam rolling on your calf and your Achilles. So just here, doing this all the way down. If you need more, stack the feet and coming down and up. I hate foam rolling. I'm like doing crunches.
That's why I hate it.
I hate it so
I
much.
hate
That's why I
having to
use a
hold
massage
myself up.
gun. Yeah, I use a massage gun instead. That's just easier for me. And then doing for like a corrective exercise, doing an eccentric calf raise. Now I'll use my stripper pole. Making a mess here. Okay. So get to your stripper pole. Ooh, we're really close to it. So going down really slow and then coming up fast. Oh my God. This is the problem. I'm going to fall over. It's not going to fall on me. I'm going to fall. So slowly going down as far as you can and then coming up. Slow stretch. If you can pause, great. If not, it's okay. So those are
Really
things that you
working
can
on
do for your
stability
ankles.
on that pole.
Yeah. I'm getting ready for my side job. So, okay, moving on. This is the last lower body assessment, and then I only have 3 for upper body, and then you guys can be free. When me and Kim are together, we are, so that's okay. So the next one is it essentially is assessing the shape of your hip socket, and then it is assessing your squat stance that way too. So that's another fun thing that you can take from it is based on this assessment, you are safer squatting with where your feet land. And this is just an easy field test. There's follow-up ones too that I will do, but quickly. So I'm going to try to lay. Let me know if you can see my feet.
Yes.
You can see my feet? Okay.
Yeah,
Can you hear me from down here?
I can.
Okay. So you're going to lay flat and put your feet straight up in the air. Then
So
after
flexed,
this, what's that?
flexed.
Yeah, flexed. And then you just relax everything and then just watch where your feet land. And for me, it's this. So you can see if you look really close, this foot is kind of at like 1 o'clock. And this one is like at 10 o'clock. So my feet are like this, right? So the weird part is that that should be my squat stance, which is asymmetrical. But the reason for that is if I have that slight out turn, My knees are feeling better when I'm squatting. My hips are level, and I'm less likely going to injure myself during especially back squats. But I noticed too that by applying that to my kettlebell, especially with doing long cycle and jerks, I am able to get more power from that, and my knees are not hurting afterward either. So I really try to keep that partial out, you know, um, even though they are asymmetrical, and try to maintain that during that. It's hard with snatch just because you're moving so much, but it's similar as well. Like anytime you're bending your knees, especially under weight, you want to have that foot position. Okay, so the next one is going to assess your internal versus external rotation of your hip. So I'm going to be laying on the ground again. I think I'll use a plate. You can use a plate for this too. It's just not comfortable. But for internal rotation, you're going to have to look at my butt. Okay. Can you see my whole body?
Yes. Well,
My
I can't
feet?
see your feet. Your
Okay.
feet are not in the view. There you go. There you're good.
Okay. So the first one, internal rotation, I'm going to hike my leg up here like this. Okay. I got to make sure my body is flat. And then I'm going to keep my knee down and lift my foot up like this. Butt flat. So we don't want this or your butt coming up. When you do it, you want to stay flat here and be able to just lift it up and down. I don't know if you can hear me while I was talking that way.
You totally could have turned sideways for that.
Well, you are welcome for the extra view, Kim Fox.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're right. I could have. That's okay. So doing that, if you're feeling it in your groin or you're cramping up on top, then it's showing that you have limited internal rotation mobility, which is not as common as having issues with your external rotators, just because we're naturally like inward a little bit more. So to assess that one, you can use a plate. I'll go sideways. Jesus. Okay. So hiking up and having your foot.
I mean, we're just trying to get as many views as possible, okay?
Oh, yeah, right? Absolutely. No deep fakes. So you're going to have your foot inward, okay? So you're not out like a star. It's in. This ankle and this foot is elevated, and your body is flat like this. And you need to lift your. Oh. So this is where I lack. But you need to be able to lift this up and down. So you'll see that me trying to do it, I can't. So, but the idea is to be able to get it up like at least like 1.5 inches off the ground without compensating and like rolling to do that. So you have to stay completely flat and just lifting your knee up and down. So if you can't, like I can't, I need to work more stability in my external rotators, so or like your abductors and your glute medius as well. So two things that can work for both, actually. One thing that can work for internal rotation, and then one thing that can work for external rotation. Internal rotation, you're going to be 90-90. Okay, so knees at 90, even just sitting like this is good. And you can do 90-90 rocks as well. But if you like to really, if you're a masochist, you can do it this way, where you take the dowel underneath. Can we see? Yeah, right?
Yep.
So it's
yep.
underneath my knee all the way to my foot. And you're going to square off your shoulders, and you're going to pull this up like a lever here. So I'm opening my hip like this. But the goal is to stay forward here instead of opening here. This still helps. And if you really cannot do it from here, then allow yourself to open. Okay, so that's the first one. You can also do 90-90 with internal rotation where you're lifting this guy up. But what's better is doing a clamshell lift off. So you're on your elbow here, knees and feet are stacked, and you're going to lift your hips up and your top leg at the same time, and then come back down. So a lot of times I see people trying to do it like this. So keep this leg on the ground, lift and down like this. Okay. So that helps with external rotation as well, but you can use a booty band and do like lateral walks and stuff too. Any questions so far? I'm sweating.
You're doing great.
Oh,
I'm not sweating at all.
Well, you're sitting in a chair. Okay, so 3 more to go. Now we're going into upper body. We're going to test shoulders and wrist. So, and again, differentiating between stability and mobility. As we know with kettlebell, your shoulders are very important to pay attention to. And then, but it's also very important to concentrate on, is it a mobility thing or is it a stability thing? And then there's also a part 2 where it might not be the shoulder at all. It might be your scapula that's not doing the proper movement that it should be doing. Okay, so shoulder abduction is this one. You can do this sitting or standing. I like standing better just because I can identify if I'm arching my back, because if you're arching your back, you're compensating, and we don't want to compensate. So you're going to stand up. Wait, should I lift this up more?
I mean,
You got to be able to see up here.
yeah, that's good.
Okay. Stripper pole. Okay, so you're going to stand comfortably, hips, feet hip width apart, palms are facing forward like this. Am I going to hit this? No. Okay. Then you're going to keep your shoulders down and your chest up, and then you're lifting your arms until your biceps are by your ears. So you don't want to cheat and like grab your hands. They need to be separate and then touching fingertips at the top. So when you're doing this, you should be able to get back here without arching. Okay. So it's here in the back, not the front. If it is in the front, then that is typically a mobility issue. So when you do that, Kim, go ahead, hold here, shrug your shoulders high, and now drop them as low as you can. So you can see everyone kind of, because her hair's in the way, but you can see that there is daylight between her ears
Make
and
them
her
arm straight
shoulders.
again.
Yeah, there we go. Yep. And then drop. So sometimes with that retraction,
I really
the
can't.
arms will bend. Yeah, like jerk position. So what do you feel when you're in this position, Kim?
I mean, I have tension through this arm specifically, which is usually the arm that I have more, trouble getting into. I mean, you can even see when I go to sit, this one just kind of goes to a lockout, and this one
Yep.
tries to turn slightly forward. So I always have to get this one.
Turn to the side.
You turn to this side.
I already did. There we go. Okay, that's pretty. We'll allow it. Yep. So,
but
yeah,
usually I compensate by because I have a lot of mobility in the upper part of my torso. So to round. So that gives me additional mobility through my arms. Rather than if my shoulders are completely straight up, then I'm slightly forward. But with not rounding my lower back, but just the upper part of my back to get me into like alignment is kind of a cheat, but
yeah. Well, I mean, too, like that, like how you do that with that rounded or that arched back a little bit, it does help with like the stacking, and it's less tension on your shoulders. But so if you're able to do that and then drop your shoulders without arching your back, that is signaling that you have appropriate mobility in the shoulders. But the problem is if you're here and you drop and your arms flare out, then it could be a lat tightness thing. or a scap tightness thing, or it could be a stability issue in the shoulders because you can't maintain this when you change the relaxation of your traps. So that can determine which one you're struggling with. So if it's a stability issue, you want to, there's this one everyone hates. I gotta take my glasses off. So you'll need a dowel for this. And you are laying flat, like so. Can you see my everything?
You probably need to scoot back just a smidge, but I guess your stripper pole's in the way.
I'll drop it down.
Or just no, just drop the camera down. There you go. That's plenty. Yeah.
Okay. Good?
Yep.
Okay. So you take this here, your head is down, and you're going to lift this above your head, pull it behind your head, out and down. And you need to do that without lifting the legs or lifting the torso. You have to stay flat here. And then a lot of people make the mistake of coming down here. It needs to be steady straight here, and you are pulling this way. And if you're hitting your head every time, then you might need to work on your mobility a little bit. But that helps with stability, is having that, being able to lift it, keep it there, pulling it behind your head, extending, and then relaxing. The next one, you'll need one of these guys. And you're going to do a mini band front raise. So you're going to have them right below, have it right below the elbows here. Okay. And you want to keep it taut the whole time. So I'm here keeping it taut, and I'm just going to go up to shoulder height and down. If you want more, you can come up all the way. And like this. This is really important for kettlebell because you want to be stable in this position. And having this band, you are resisting the band and you're forcing your shoulders to activate. Ugh, I'm burning. In that overhead position. Okay. So if it's a mobility thing, so just a side note, if you warm up by doing like dowel work, that's okay. But if you have hypermobile shoulders, you're just increasing the range of motion even more. So I would say if you have issues with stability, to warm up before kettlebell, not doing dowel rotations and doing stability work instead. So you're still warming up, but you're warming up the right part of your shoulder than aside from or instead of increasing your mobility too much. And that's definitely something that I struggle with my hyper shoulder mobility, is when I am fixated, I really have to work super hard to keep it there, especially with snatch. If I don't catch it at the right time, my arm will just, and obviously that's not ideal. So, it's super important, unless, because I mean, especially with snatch, you have so much to think about anyway. You don't want to risk not remembering to lock when you fixate. Otherwise, like, yeah, it'll go too far. You lose your balance, to your rotator cuff, all those things. And then the last one for mobility, this kind of also works stability, but you're going to have the band here. You're going to be in a bridge. We good?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. So you're keeping that taut. It's going to hit my face. There we go. Up over the head and down, but not reaching like this. You're keeping that straight line and going up and down like that. Bonus points if you do it on a bench, and then you can go further back. Okay. 2 more, I promise. So shoulder flexion is the next one. And you're going to do this laying on the ground. Like, too much stripper pull. Okay. There we go. So you are in this position. You want to make a blade with your hand and put them right by your sides. And you're going to take your whatever arm first, but one at a time, up and over and try to touch the floor behind you without arching your back. Okay, so you go up and touch here. If you are skeptical of whether or not you're arching, activate your core by pressing your low back into the ground and then do it that way and see if there is a change. A lot of times pressing into the ground, people are tighter here, and that just tells me that it's a lat issue, not a shoulder issue. So you might have tightness in your lats. So, but you have to do both, one, then the other, and then you need to do both at the same time. Here. So pressing the back into the floor, up and down, and then also just like a relaxed position up and down here. And again, paying attention to sensation. Usually you're going to feel it maybe in the front of your shoulder a little bit, or your lats, but that tells us kind of where the issue is. And a lot of times people's issues with shoulder mobility are because of their lats being too tight. And if we've all rolled out here, it's like the worst pain of all time, but it's helpful. So you can do that same one, that bridge pullover for that one. You can do these for that. And then if you're really feeling fancy, you can do hinged. Am I too low?
Nope, you're good.
I do
Nope,
need a
okay.
cameraman. Okay. Here like this, and then coming up and over in this position. But if you don't have flexible shoulders, I don't recommend trying that.
Yeah, and if you struggle with using the dowel to try and get in position because your shoulders aren't flexible, you can also use a stretch band to do this.
Yes.
So that way, when you're getting to the point where you struggle, it's going to allow it to stretch so you can go, but you'll still have tension,
Yes.
tension on your arms while you're going through until you work into a position. One thing, so my husband, has really tight shoulders. And one thing that helped him is like really moving under, stretching while basically being under load. So, you know, mace work, club work, all those are really good to help really with stabilization as well as getting better range of motion because you're moving through a range of motion pattern, but you're under load. So those muscles are under tension, right? And doing work. So while you're going through these ranges of motion. And that really helped him using the mace specifically, really helped him open up and have greater mobility in his shoulders. Cause like when he first started doing it, like he could barely even get to here. So, and to be able to get to this position behind your head while you're holding the mace, right? This can be like, obviously, this is full stretch position over your head, along with your arms being narrow. So, and you still have to keep your lat pulled down. So that might be an option too, even if you're just, if you don't know how to swing the mace, and you have one or whatever, you have ones at your gym, even just swinging side to side from this position and not falling over can help get you into that position or using clubs.
Yes. So. Yeah. Love all of that. Okay. Last one is assessing your wrist. So you'll need, I'm going to bring you over to my stripper pole again because it's the same, it's the same assessment that we did with our ankle, but with our wrist. So so you're going to have your hand about the same, this is not going to work, but so about the same distance away as your foot was. And you want your middle finger to be that 4.5 inches away. So palm needs to stay flat, elbow pit turned forward, and you need to rock forward. Get my hair out of the way. Rock forward with that elbow pit forward, and the arm straight, and you're gonna rock and touch your shoulder to the rig and back. I'll show you on this side. I think it'll be better. So here it's really hard when there is, I can't show both. Oh my God. Okay, there we go. Here, and then elbow pit forward, rocking forward to touch here, like this. Okay, like that. Elbow has to stay straight. Sometimes people will do this. That's not it. It has to be locked out. So, same with the ankle, if you're feeling a sensation in the back of in your extensors, then it's a mobility issue. If you're feeling it in the front, which you could also, if you feel that during push-ups or planks or stuff like that, that's a stability issue in your wrist. So you got to know which one it is. For me, I typically feel it in the front. Again, I have hypermobile joints, so my stability is usually the issue. So if it is a mobility issue, if you're feeling it back here, you can do the same thing as the ankle distraction. See if I can get that. This is not nearly as tight as it should be, but it'll give you the idea. So it needs to be, again, right in that crease, as tight as you can tolerate, keeping the palm down. You're rocking forward and backward like this. Supporting the wrist so you can get more range of motion in your extensors. So that's a really good one for myofascial, and one that could go either way. It could be mobility and or stability, but it is an overhead plate hold. I like to say it's like a server hold when they hold the trays up here. Don't do this until you are confident in your wrist stability. I think I'll probably just do it kneeling. Yeah. Okay. So you put this on your hand, extend in the air, and hold. And you can do, again, if you're feeling fancy, you can allow your hand to tip and come back up. Sometimes I will do walks with it. Or now I'm doing knee slides. But that's a good one to do too. But again, make sure you're confident that you won't drop it, or your shoulders stable enough that your arm just won't give out. All right. If it's a stability issue, you can still do that banded distraction that I showed you first. And then this one's my favorite, because I feel like if I learn how to do this right and I'm like hanging off of a building, that I'll be able to like hold myself up enough for someone to come save me, because I can't do pull-ups, but maybe my grip strength will work. But of course you can do like grip strength work with kettlebells by like letting it hang and doing this, walking, standing. You can also let it go into the hook and do that as well. But the grip and wrist one that I like the best is you take a dumbbell, palm it, and you hold it like this. So holding, time under tension, or walking with it like that. I like to do both at the same time. And, or yeah, you hold until failure, like you're going to drop it. But that's going to work grip strength and wrist stability as well. That's all of it. So that's all I have. Does anyone have like any questions? Kim, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I mean, you were going over with the band work on your arms. Another one I found that helps is good too is pressing. So holding the band. Let me go get a band. All my mobility stuff is like farther away from the kettlebells. Okay, but holding a band in this position, and just make sure your arms are perpendicular. They're not like this. And then you're using the tension to keep your arms, to pull your arms apart so you have tension on the band, and then pressing over, pulling back down, pressing over, pulling back down. And you'll find
Yes.
people that have stability issue or weakness, they'll start to pull here instead of
Mhm.
keeping the tension here. They'll start to flare out. And you want
Yes. And then you can also do the grip version of that too, where you're holding it in your hands and
oh,
then,
yeah, that'd be good
you
too.
know, up and down too. So you're working both. A lot of
And these
different
are like
ways.
super, this is the lightest band. I mean, this is a super light band. But those are really pretty challenging. I usually have people do like
Mhm.
maybe 12 to 15 of them just as part of their warm up to kind of like wake up their shoulders before we start
Yes.
to lift. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
There's a lot of ways that you can address certain issues. So, I wanted to so if anyone has like extra questions or wants me to look at stuff or whatever, you can follow me on Facebook, message me. I wrote down my Instagram handle. I spend more time on Instagram. Is this backwards? Is
No,
this
it's not.
backwards? Okay.
No, it's
And
not.
it's just at strength.is.beautiful. Yeah, so you can ask anything. I would love to help you. It's hard to do something like this that it's so vast and giving there's so many different facets of it. I just gave you there's four phases in each repair or recovery, prehab, whatever. I just gave you 1 and 2. 3 and 4 are otherwise we'd be on here for 4 hours, but 3 and 4 are gentle loading and full loading. So when you're progressing like that, you need to have like a game plan to progress. Otherwise, you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and you might not need it. But it's just as important to progress this way with functional movement and like repairing your body, correcting asymmetries, as it is like doing strength training or doing your reps with kettlebell. Like you have to do all of it to be more well-rounded in your training, and then you're going to see your performance get better and better when you are addressing these issues that you might have. So yeah, anyway, it's something I'm passionate about, and no one likes to warm up, but you can always superset. I do that sometimes if I don't want to warm up in between my like snatch sets. I'll do some shoulder stability work just to keep them on. It doesn't have to be this like hour-long mobility. Just a little sprinkle here and there is going to be more than effective.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Anybody, everybody that comes on here, they do it, for free. Since we don't we don't make any money on here.
No,
So
nope.
but if there is a topic that you would like to cover, and you're part of the Kettlebell Almanac group, feel free to message me, or comment in the group. And I know people had listed out a bunch of things that they would like to hear about in one of my previous posts. So if one of those topics is something you're like, oh, I know a lot about this, I would like to share some knowledge with people. There is no like gatekeeping to who gets to come on here. Usually I just try and find people that I already know that I can reach out to, but I don't know everybody. So if you, like I said, if you are interested in teaching a topic, just reach out to me and we can set something up. So, but yeah, I really appreciate Shannon. Thanks for taking out time on your Sunday to come hang out with
Oh,
me. I know you don't
thank
mind that
you.
part.
No, I don't mind at all. Like we could just chat the whole time. So we get to hang out. But yeah, thank you, everybody else, everyone who's watching, and surviving through the whole long-winded presentation. Um, that is an accomplishment in and of itself.
I mean, you did it in an hour and a half. It's not too bad.
Okay, good. That's good.
So,
All
okay.
right. Well,
Well, talk to you
thank
guys
you.
later. Hope everybody has a nice Sunday.
Bye. Awkward. Okay, bye.